This is Travis from Decapitation. You're watching Heavy New York.
Heavy, 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 heavy New York!
What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at my house today, and today we're here with Travis of Decapitation. Thank you for your time, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, any trouble on the subway on the way here?
No, we did get to watch a interesting pole dancing number or a routine by a couple dudes on the
I've seen
subway.
that.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, you haven't had the full New York experience.
Until you see, yeah, and then we walked out and there's the dudes playing the buckets, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
it's New York.
If there's anything more dangerous than crowd killing, it's that on the subway. But it's so awesome to have you here. Death Atlas, the new record scheduled to come out later this year. What I'm curious is, being that it was 4 years since the release of the Anthropocene Extinction, do you consider this like a direct follow-up to the Anthropocene Extinction, or do you think that this is a brand new start for Cattle Decapitation?
Both, because it's very much. I was using like the hashtag or whatever for a while. It's very much post Anthropocene, but conceptually and obviously musically. But we really, I feel that starting around Harvest Floor, we started taking things into more closer to the direction that we've been on the last couple records. And then Monolith even pushed that even further and really cemented in people's minds that, they're doing something different now or whatever. Anthropocene, I felt, was the perfect follow-up to that train of thought. But this one, like if those were a trilogy, this would be the big, yeah. But it's, that was, I was not that, it's not that we ever made these things. It was never going to be a trilogy or anything.
Okay.
Like that. It just kind of has seemed to be that way.
Yeah, well, after hearing Monolith for the first time, I never would have thought that on the Anthropocene Extinction I would hear a song like Mammals of Babylon,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, with that sort of clean vocals behind it. So it's fair to say, is there like a formula or a usual template that Cattle Decapitation kind of revolves around when making new music, or do you take a new approach to every album?
I think it's been pretty much the same. Like they write all the music. I just write the lyrics and vocals, melodies and stuff. But they all work together. It's never been just one person. Everybody works together. We all come from very different backgrounds and stuff, and they all kind of just clash. And that's what you're hearing with the last few. This one, no. The new one, I think we had obviously a better understanding of where we've been heading, and I feel like this is just a more realized album. You know what I mean? Like everything fell a little more into place.
Okay.
Like big time. Actually, all the way up until the album was done, and then that's when everything's like tours are falling through, or
Yeah.
timing on things gets shitty, and we have to wait 6 fucking months for the record to be out, and all that shit, So,
Yeah.
but everything else,
There
the
you go.
important parts all fell right into place, and we couldn't be happier. I was saying earlier that, like, I don't know if I could ever call myself a fan of our material. I really don't know, because I'm part of it.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to step outside my mind and look in and be like, would I listen to this? I fucking don't know. But this new record, I can definitely say, at least, like, yeah, the whole thing, I personally am a fan.
Yeah.
I'm stoked on where we've gone.
Well, if you're not proud of it yourself, you can't expect your fans to enjoy it either.
But
so.
like being proud of something and being a fan of it is different. Like I don't know. I could see being proud of doing it, but like, would I listen to this if I didn't have my hands involved?
Mm-hmm.
It's a different thing. And this one, I think I definitely would. And I felt that way about Anthropocene too. But the last 20 minutes of this record is way more the kind of stuff that I'm into. I think really, it's a downer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into really depressing music. So I'm glad that we've been able to somewhat seamlessly meld that into extremity, because
There you go.
it's definitely how my mind acts.
Do you mentioned, because being writing lyrics, do you need to hear music before you come up with lyrics, or do you
Yes.
sometimes have a
I mean,
concept?
I don't need to, but in fact, the first 2 Cattle records, which were, let's face it, they were 50-second grind songs or whatever. I wrote those lyrics. I was working at a record store, and during downtime, there wouldn't be any customers or whatever. I would take the slips that we would use to do, when we buy people's CDs off of them or whatever, and fill out their information. I would turn those over and write the lyrics on them, and they're only this big. The papers are only this big, and the lyrics fill up maybe half of it, And back then, I would write the lyrics on my own time, and then try to fit it to what the band was doing. And I just felt that was, over the 2 records, I just felt that was a weird way to do it. There's something almost. This is totally just me, but it almost feels like disingenuous or something, doing it that way. I don't know. It's totally not. I mean, that's how some of the greatest, shit's ever been.
Well, nothing could be more heartbreaking than having the perfect set of lyrics and then listening to the music arrangements and seeing how they go like 1 or 2 syllables over the. That's got to be heartbreaking.
And then you gotta erase shit. Yeah, I mean, it happens on our record. There's comes to parts where it's like, oh, I overthought this one. I wrote too much shit for this, so we'll cut parts out and shit makes things easier on me live anyway.
Yeah. What do you like to leave your lyrics open to interpretation?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't try to maybe like pass on a message or inform.
I've never been a fuck the government, punk, spelling it all out for everybody and.
So you're not Earth Crisis.
No. Yeah, I've never been into that. I'm not into preaching. And I'm just, especially with this record, it's much more done in a poetic manner. There's a lot of metaphors. Obviously, always irony is always a thing, tongue in cheek. But it's kind of, I ended up just realizing it was much better to write lyrics to somebody's music, and they've been writing a little more with the knowledge as time goes by, and we see our output and we review it and realize things we like about it or don't like about it or whatever. They've started to take into account that I'm going to be doing choruses, or that these could be big melodic sections for me to do, and then they wrote those in a little more on the last couple records than Monolith. They didn't realize that that's what I was going to be doing with it.
It's totally shocked them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I remember this song, "Living, Breathing, Piece of Defecating Meat." Did the lyrics or the vocals for that onto a. My in the garage band or whatever, and I showed Dave and I said, all right, listen, dude, like, this is something you've never really heard me do, and I really want to do it. It sounds like shit because I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I don't know how to, or as far as recording, I don't know how to record this shit. I'm not a producer or an engineer. I don't know how to do this stuff, but just roll with me here, bear with me here. What do you like? Do you think this is too much? And I showed him, and he was just like, I trust you, but that was garbage.
Yeah, you got to appreciate the honesty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want nothing else. And I was just like, yeah, I go, trust me, man, it's gonna be different. Like, it's gonna be, I'm gonna be able to do this. When I record this shit, I'm sitting there on my lazy boy or on my couch, laying down at home, just going, doing the melodies or whatever into the mic. And if I was to sit there and really try to belt it out, I need somebody press and play record for me. You know what I mean? I need somebody else handling it. I've tried doing it myself, and I don't know how Devin Townsend does it. Like, a genius.
Well, I think that really speaks highly of like you and the band, like because I've interviewed Josh numerous times, and his approach, and when asking him about songwriting, he had like a very different way of expressing it. It almost seems like you guys almost rely on each other. You guys are like a band, so it's not like one person writes everything and everybody else is like a hired gun. It seems like Cattle is a very collaborative project.
Yeah, it's collaborative is the key word there. Yeah, big time. Because Dave's a writer as well. He can play guitar too if he wanted to. He used to do this weird thing where like he didn't have a guitar, but he had this neck, just a guitar neck, he was able to show like riffs.
It's
Free, I know, dude.
It's fairly
free.
common. I've seen guitar teachers do that.
Really?
before.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's probably where he got it. But fucking, I always thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always been a collaborative effort. And then when I write lyrics to it too, it always ends up almost every song you need to. Hey guys, you need to extend this part 2 times, or I need you to go 2 times more, or 4 times more because I need to not do vocals on the first 2, and I need to do them on the next 4, kind of thing, all that kind of shit. But I can't say that I'm a riff writer.
Right.
I wrote 1 riff on Kingdom of Tyrants. That's it for
There you
this,
go.
since the '90s at least for this band.
I know that you mentioned that, like, Monolith, Anthropocene, and Death Atlas, it's not necessarily a trilogy, but if somebody were to, like, maybe listen to those records in, like, a chronological order, would they maybe have a better understanding of what Death Atlas is, or could they just approach it from any angle?
Well, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, totally. In fact, I think you could tell what Death Atlas is by not having heard any of the last 2, but it also comes down to a elemental sense that Monolith is land and Anthropocene was kind of water, and the new album is fire, sort of thing. Now that's not something I came up with years ago and thought of this awesome plan or whatever, but it's just kind of this album. I was just like, I'm gonna have this one be a little more about like fire and brimstone, just fucking, whether it's in a biblical sense or just new modern or modern ills that are going on in the world, sending us down that path.
Interesting.
It doesn't really have there's no clear what happened here.
Yeah. It's not like your albums are like Lord of the Rings, where you have to like
Exactly.
listen to the first one in order to get the.
Exactly. No, you could just jump right in. I mean,
Okay.
everybody's seen the Grim Reaper. Everybody's seen Atlas, and the world's burning. Obviously, or is a smoldering just piece of shit, and that's pretty much it.
There you go.
So that's kind of obviously the metaphor for what's going on with climate change. So.
Interesting. I have 2 more questions for you. One thing I was very curious about is, I've seen you live. I think when you move on to this Atheist tour, this will probably be like 7th or 8th time seeing you guys. And I've always thought that seeing you live is a very different experience than listening to you. Like, just with the crowd interaction aspects of it and, the many different types of tours you're on. When you're playing on a stage, is there a similar energy that you challenge into your live presence as you do with, like if you're in like the vocal booth or in the studio?
Dude, the vocal booth. The studio is a whole different, you nailed it. It's a whole different thing. I like that. I don't necessarily see the point in, I guess it depends. Like, if I'm going to go see Cynic in 1994, I want to see 4 or 5 dudes up there basically playing jazz, staring, concentrating on what they're playing, kind of shit, and not some dude it's just like there's a time and a place for both, and we're kind of like melding the two. But I'm a spaz, so I just I'm just a fucking a spaz naturally, as you tell. And so the live scenario is it's not necessarily where I shine, but that's where I probably have the most fun. And
I think it's the most organic.
Yes, and it's a release. I'm the most calm and collected when I'm on the road, probably because I'm exerting so much energy every night and getting out all that pent up aggression and hate and anger and rage that I apparently inherently have.
Yeah, there you go.
But,
And the final question I wanted to ask you is, it's my favorite question to ask every artist because it's always the hardest question for everybody to answer, and I get a different answer every time. How do you know when a song is done? Cue the Jeopardy music.
A song. I wish you said album.
Album, song, whatever you prefer to answer.
Because a song is never done, I feel, until it's obviously written and recorded. But it's that recording. We've been making albums for a while, like actual. But at least I think Karma and Harvest Floor were the ones I remember, where we really started, paying attention to having intros, a flow. Monolith, I think, had a really good flow to it, but that's only gotten better. A flow where there's peaks and valleys, there's it's not just this big blur of intensity. It's not just this well of depressing bullshit. It's it's got peaks and valleys. It's got intros, and things have to go a certain way. There's songs that you hear that this is a song 4. This is the middle of the record kind of thing. This is a last song. This one's a first song.
I've always noticed with every rock album, the 4th song is always the saddest song.
Really? Is that the ballad?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, those
with
usually
alternative rock.
Yeah, or 4th out from the end. Maybe might be the ballad or something. But
Yeah.
there's an art to it. I think. And I think it's not and not everybody can do it, and that's why you have differing albums. Producers aren't ever usually the ones, at least from what I've experienced, they're not even the ones. Well, Otero doesn't really have much of a. He actually admitted to me recently. He's like, I don't really have much of a interest in how the album gets pieced together. So, which that's fine because I do, and I'd much rather have control over that than.
You're the one who has to
Yeah.
sing this
Then
stuff.
some guy going, no, it's got to be like this because I produced this and this is how it is. So that's almost a blessing in disguise. Really.
Yeah, I've always called the producer like the 5th or 6th. If you're in Slipknot, the 10th Beatle or something like that. So it's good that it seems like there's a great liberation aspect behind it.
I mean, that's a good question, but I think it really comes down to the kind of music. Ask a jazz dude, or when is the song done?
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Well, any alternative rock band I interview where it's verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus, I don't ask that because it's quite obvious.
Yeah, and we have those elements now, I don't know, with as far as verse, chorus, and stuff. So it pretty much lies in the band, and I guess the guys writing the music, and I guess the real easy answer to that would be when the vocals come in.
There you go.
When the vocals come in and dictate, hey, these actually have to get moved around here, guys. Maybe they weren't thinking in those terms, especially with frantic extreme metal that has all these different peaks and valleys just within the song itself. I mean, that's what our stuff is. It's not the most conventional stuff. It's also not the most out there shit. So.
Fair enough. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for coming over. You got this awesome tour with Atheist, Full of Hell, Arthur and Punisher, and a lot of other great bands coming up. Is there just anything
Primitive
else?
Man's in there as well.
Primitive Man.
They're switching off with Full of Hell.
Awesome.
Each of them do like 2 weeks or something.
I saw them together this year. So.
Dude, Ethan is a goddamn beast, man.
Oh, I love that guy. Was amazing.
Frightening.
We interviewed him in like the Bat Cave at Brooklyn Bazaar. It was awesome. So, is there just anything else for the Death Atlas record cycle we could be expecting? It's a brand new record, so I could imagine we'll be seeing you on the road quite a bit.
Yes, and we have an awesome music video coming. I'm not going to give away the details to that. Actually, I haven't even seen it. I just know it's going to be awesome because of the person doing it, and I'm very, very excited about that. And get the album, check out the CD. Actually, especially we went really kind of fucking crazy with the images of the band members and stuff in the liner notes. So I'm very, very proud of this one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's coming out November 27th?
29th.
29th.
Black Friday.
Black Friday, there you go.
Yeah.
That just made it even 10 times
Easy.
more brutal.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Travis.
Thank you.
Everybody, Travis Ryan of Cattle Decapitation Death Atlas out Black Friday of 2019. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We'll see you next time.